go through a ladder flow which will take on both sides of the body in order to do it. We'll start on the mat on a tabletop position, and then we'll work our way through, gradually adding on pieces as we go, adding on through the process of the flow until we reach a peak pose, and then we'll do some stretches out at the end to loosen up the hips and end in a child's pose at the end of the session. So to start with, we're going to join me on the mat, and we will go into a tabletop position. You can always use a blanket here to put under your knees if you find that being on your knees for any length of time is a bit painful. Just pop a blanket underneath your knees like that. What we're aiming for is to make sure that, I'll just adjust my blanket a bit more there, I'm aiming for the knees to be underneath the hips and for the wrists to be underneath the shoulders. Fingers facing forwards. We flatten our back, relax the shoulders back looking forwards. We're going to do a few rounds of cat-cow to begin with. So we breathing in, we drop the belly down, lifting the gaze up, drawing the shoulders back, deep breath in. And as we exhale, tuck the tail under, round the back, drawing the abdominal muscles up, pushing into the hands, all the way out with the breath. Nice and slow as we breathe in again, inhaling all the way in, same thing, looking up slightly, drawing the shoulders back, letting the belly drop down, and on the exhale, tuck that tail in again, around the back, pushing into the fingers, drawing the abdominal muscles up as we go. Another inhale in, belly comes down again, lift the gaze slightly, taking care not to overextend the neck, and exhale, once again drawing the abdominal muscles up, rounding the back. We'll do one more breath in. Inhale in. And exhale into cat as we draw those abdominal muscles in, really tucking the tail up. And just pause for a little bit longer there in cat pose with the back arched. And then gradually coming to a neutral spine. If you've still got the blanket there, you can take that out of the way just to start off and loosen up the hips a little bit and put some length in the back. We're going to go into a wide leg child's pose. So taking the knees out to the corners of the mat, bringing the heels together at the back with the hands still facing, fingers facing forwards. We're just going to gently, as we exhale, let the hips sink down towards the heels there. And once you get into that position, you can gradually let the chest lower down and maybe the forehead comes onto the mat. If that's too uncomfortable, there's always the option of bringing your knees a bit closer and putting the blanket underneath your backside there, so just sinking back onto the blanket to take some of the strain off of there. Just let the body melt down. You can feel the spine lengthening out as you go. On the exhale, we can just lengthen the spine a little bit more. As we inhale, lift the rib cage up out the pelvic area, and then gently let it all float and relax down to the mat. Take another deep breath in, and another exhale. Maybe you can walk the fingers forwards a little bit, finding that stretch in your arms. And the stretch is extending all the way down the back to the hips. Bringing the hands back up towards the body, lift the hips up, come back into your tabletop position. Remove the blanket if you're there. Tuck the toes at the back there, and first of all, before we go to our downward facing dog, we're just going to lift the kneecaps up the floor a little bit, keeping those shoulders back as we go, looking forwards. Kneecaps are up off the ground, shins are just hovering just above the ground, parallel to your mat. We're going to engage the core muscles now, pushing the hips up as we go into our first downward facing dog. Once we're into downward facing dog, feel free to make any organic movements you want with the legs. As before, fingers are facing forwards, your little fingers facing the corners of the mat, and we're pressing into the tips of the fingers as we keep pedaling the legs, finding some length in the spine. You can begin to feel the backs of the calves and the hamstrings open up as you push forwards. We'll come to stillness there, and we're going to bend both the knees together and bring the stomach and the thighs to touch. As we push into the hands, you can feel the spine lengthening there. Let's straighten the legs together. Maybe the heels start coming a little bit further down towards the back as we begin to open up the calves. Moving to the arms, whilst we're still in down dog, if you think of moving your armpits closer towards each other underneath the body, you can feel your back broadening as well as you push into the hands there. Leave it there. From here, we're going to bring the toes together at the back. So your big toes are now touching, and from here we're going to go into three-legged dog. So on the inhale, we'll lift that right leg up, bring it up, take it as far as is comfortable for you at the moment. And then when we're at the top of the inhale, bend the right knee so that the right ankle goes over the left hand side. You can have a little peek underneath your right armpit there. Trying to keep your shoulders level at the front. We keep the core engaged. We're stacking the hips, one on top of the other. As we exhale, we'll straighten that leg, and then making some room underneath your body by arching the back slightly, bringing the shoulders further forward towards the wrists. We can bring the knee through to the nose. We're going to do that 3 times. So another inhale, take that right leg up, reach into three-legged dog. Exhale, bring the shoulders forwards, rounding the back, knee comes through towards the nose. Take it out one last time. Inhale, reach all the way up. And exhale, last time. Taking the shoulders over the wrists there, rounding the back slightly, bringing that knee, making some space, bringing that knee through, and then however you need to, taking as many steps as you need, bringing that right foot between the hands at the front of the mat. Once we're there, our left leg is long behind us, hips are facing the front of the mat. Left leg is long, you can push back through the heel there and feel some lengthening in that left leg and a bit of a stretch on the front of your left quad. Front leg is bent, both toes are facing forwards. We're going to drop the left knee to the ground at this point, and as we do so, flatten that foot at the back, engage your core muscles, and then come up with the torso and the arms as we come into crescent lunge with the hands coming together at the top of the breath. You can look up at your raised hands, your hips sink down slightly as you exhale. We'll take one more breath here, lengthening in the spine, engaging the core muscles, rib cage is coming up out the pelvic area, and then we're going to exhale all the way out, slowly bring those hands down to frame that right foot again. Once we're there, go onto the toes at the back, lift up that left knee, and then take your right foot back and go straight, push back into downward facing dog, where we'll take 2 breaths. Pedal out the feet as much as you wish. Bringing those feet together again. We're going to lift the leg up, 3-legged dog. Here we go again. This time just for the once, we're going to round the back slightly as we bring the shoulders forwards over towards the wrists. Make some room for that knee. Take the foot through into your low lunge, looking forwards. We're going to drop that left knee to the floor again. Inhale, up we go with the torso. Hips come down as we go. As we lift, hands come together at the top of our crescent lunge. Hands come down again on the exhale. Option, you can keep your knee on the floor with the left leg there, or you can lift it up. Keeping that left hand on the floor, we're going to sweep up the right arm so that it comes up to the ceiling, gently opening up, rotating to the right. Take another breath here. You can maybe look up at your raised hand. And then as you exhale, take that right hand down. Steadying yourself and looking forwards. Take a deep breath in here. Pushing back through that left heel maybe. And then we're going to exhale and take that right foot back into our downward facing dog. We'll take one breath here and then we'll add a little bit more on. So moving on. Right foot comes up, rounding the back, shoulders coming forwards, exhale, knee comes through, foot comes down between the hands at the back. dropping the left knee, bringing those arms up as the torso engages, palms together, slight back bend, hips sink down. Exhale, hands come to frame the foot. This time I'm going to keep my left knee down. Left hand is firmly on the floor, right arm sweeps up and back to the ceiling as we rotate the chest to the right. Exhale, hand comes down, lifting up that left knee again. We're going to flatten the left foot to the floor. Right foot is firmly on the ground, knee stays bent. We're ready to move into a warrior one pose. So from here, pushing into that right foot, come up with the torso, arms come up above the head. You note your left foot is on the left side of the mat, hips are facing forwards to the front of the mat, left leg is straight, we're bending into the right knee. Arms come up above our head as we come into warrior one. Straightening your back again as we inhale, we can straighten the back, lifting up the rib cage, drawing the abdominal muscles in, and you can go into that front leg a little bit more. From here, we're going to go into warrior three. So what we're going to do next is gently start a little bit of a bounce, and then we can move forward. So lifting off with that left leg, hands come down to your heart center. In front of your heart there, you can lift that left leg up, balancing on your right foot. Right leg is nicely engaged. Look down, focus on something at the front of the mat. Engaging your core, keeping that left leg active as we go. Take one more breath here. Option here to bring your hands out in front of you and increase your balance there. As we exhale, hands come down to the floor, left foot floats down flat on the heel at the back, foot is still at 45 degrees on the left side. We're going to steady ourselves on our hands at the front and then take that right foot back, push it back to downward facing dog. Adding on one more piece to this, we'll move from our warrior three into a crescent moon, pedaling the legs out for another breath. We'll go through the flow and add on the final piece. Inhale, right leg comes up. Exhale, round the back, shoulders come forwards, foot comes between the hands at the front. Dropping the left knee as we go. We inhale and we bring the torso up, hips come down, reaching up the body, finding length, palms come together into our crescent lunge. Exhale, hands come down to frame the right foot. Left hand on the floor. Raise up that right arm, rotate to the right. Look up at your raised hand as you inhale. And exhale, hand comes down. Lifting up your left knee, flattening that left foot, ready for your warrior 3 feet. Pushing into your front heel, come up again with the torso. Hips go straight forwards again, arms come up. Look up at your raised hands, and then pushing into that right leg, we're going to lift the left leg as we go into warrior 3. Lifting off, leaning forward with the torso. Torso is now parallel with the front of the mat. Hands can be there in front of your heart or extended out in front of you. Taking a block which you've handily placed at the front, we can now move into crescent moon. Taking the right hand down to the block, we start rotating the hips out to the left, so the hips end up stacking one side or the other. I find it, little wobble there, I find it easier to keep my left hand on my hip there. Slowly start drawing the left shoulders up and back, and then if you feel confident enough, you can raise that left arm up as we go into crescent moon. We'll take one more breath here. And then slowly bring the hands down to the mat in front of you as you let the left foot drop back down, and we're in a low lunge. We'll take that right foot back, find ourselves back in downward facing dog. Taking a quick breath between the poses, one side and the other, knees wide, heels together, sink those hips back into child's pose. You can move your block away now. Relax the body and the chest. Head, come down to the mat, Stretch it out, regain your breath. Moving to the other side, I'm going to switch directions so you can see me a bit easier. Back into your tabletop position. Working on the left side now, we'll go through the same sequence on the left side. So your block is available at the front of the mat, ready to go into crescent moon. Onto the toes there, lift the kneecaps up so that the shins are now parallel with the mat. Engage your core muscles, lift the hips, push up and back into your downward facing dog. Give those feet and those legs a pedal out. You're probably feeling your calves and your hamstrings are really getting a bit more open now. And your hips are coming up higher. And your back is lengthening. So still pushing into the fingers at the front that are facing forwards. We remember to bring those armpits towards each other under the back, under the front of our body, so that the back broadens. Bringing the toes together at the back, we'll lift the left leg up as we inhale. As we did before on the other side, as we exhale, coming forward with those shoulders, making some space for that knee to come through. Just bring it through underneath the body towards the nose. Inhale, come back up again. Nice big stretch and reach, pushing to those hands. Exhale, rounding the back. Bringing the knee through towards the nose. Last breath. Inhale up with that leg, three-legged dog. Exhale, round the back, make some space. Take the foot through between the hands at the front. Once we're there, we're going to drop the right knee to the floor and bring the arms up above our head into crescent lunge. As we engage the torso, let the hips sink down as you exhale. Inhale again, lifting that ribcage up, straightening your back, find some length in the body. Exhale, hands come to floor, frame the left foot, lift up your right knee, take your left foot back, push straight back up, back into downward facing dog. One breath here. Inhale, take that left leg up again into three-legged dog. This time just once through, so leaning forward, rounding the back, bringing that knee through underneath the body, foot comes through, right knee drops down. Take the hands off the floor, engage the core, lift the arms up and reach. You can bring those palms together, maybe slight back bend. As you exhale, hips sink down. We can feel the stretch on the front of that right quad. Both hands come down to the mat. Right hand this time stays rooted to the floor. We're going to sweep up that left arm as we open up the chest to the left. Look up at your raised hand. And bring the hand down to the mat. Lift up your right knee, take the left foot back to join the right at the back of the mat as we push the hips up, back into our downward facing dog for one breath. Moving on through the flow. Inhale, leg comes up at the back, left leg up, exhale, round the back, bring the knee through, foot comes down between the hands. We can drop the right knee. Inhaling up with the arms into crescent lunge, palms come together, look at your hands. Exhale, hips sink down. Inhale, lift again. Exhale, hands come down to frame the foot. Right hand to floor as we sweep the left arm up, opening the chest up to the left hand side. Exhale, hands come down to the floor. Let's lift up the right knee. We're going to flatten our right foot. So we're preparing for warrior one. Our right foot is on the right side of the mat, facing 45 degrees out. Left foot is facing forwards, knees bent, hips to the front. Pushing into your left foot. Up we come with the torso as we engage, arms come up into warrior one. Hips are coming forward. If like me, you might want to move that right hip forward a little bit. Engage those core muscles and lift up. On the inhale, finding some length there, making sure not to have those shoulders going into your ears. Let's hold it there for another breath. Are we ready to move on? We take the hands down as we exhale, framing that left foot. Left foot goes straight the way back and we meet me in downward facing dog. Hips go up. Couple of pedals of the legs. before we move on. Inhale, left leg comes up, all the way up, reaching up. Exhale, round the back. Move the shoulders forwards, make some space for that knee as that foot comes through to the front. Drop the right knee down to the floor, engage the core muscles. Up we come into our crescent lunge, palms together. Exhale, hands come to the floor. Right hand stays on the floor, left arm sweeps up, and we open up. Nice straight line from the tips of your left fingers down to your hand on the floor on the right side. Hand comes down to frame the foot. Lift up your right knee. Flatten your right foot. Warrior 1 foot either side of the mat. Important thing is that right foot is facing 45 degrees. Pushing into that left foot. Up we come with the torso. Up we come. Arms lift into what our Warrior 1. From here, we're going to go into Warrior 3. So leading off, we move forwards, pushing into that left leg, straightening the leg as we go. Hands come to the heart. Right leg is lifted behind us. Torso parallel to the mat. Find something to focus on. As before, you can leave your hands there, or maybe bring your arms out in front. Choice is yours. Making sure the block is ready for the next round. We're going to exhale, bring the hands down to the mat, bring that right foot down gently to the floor again. Take your left foot back and move the hips up and back to downward facing dog. Let's take a breath here before we move to the final bit of the left side. Toes together at the back again. Inhale, left leg comes up, pushing into the fingers. Exhale, round the back, knee comes through, makes a space. Left foot to the floor, drop the right knee, inhale, arms up into your crescent lunge, palms together, hips sink down, exhale, hands to floor, right hand stays on the floor, left arm sweeps up as we open up and rotate to the left, exhale, hand comes down to the floor, right knee lifts up, sort your feet out at the back, Warrior 1 feet, right foot 45 degrees on the right side of the mat. Left foot facing forwards, hips facing the front of the mat. Pushing into that front leg, we rise up with the torso, up with the arms, find our Warrior 1. Bending into that front knee. You should always be able to see the toes over the front of your left knee, sorry. Lift it up there. We're going to move forwards as we move into that left leg, rising that right leg up. Bring the right leg up, finding your balance. Grabbing hold of your blocks for the last move, the last position here. Right hand goes onto there. Let's put the left hand on the left hip. And then we can finally lift up and rotate. Hands come down to meet the floor. Drop the right foot down, take your left foot back straight into your downward facing dog. One more position, both sides, just to relax it off. We're going to go into a lizard lunge. So from downward facing dog, starting on the right side, right leg comes up as we exhale, rounding that back again instead. This time, instead of taking the foot between the hands, we're going to take the foot wide of the right wrist. Once we're there in our lizard lunge position, we're going to drop that left knee to the floor. You can slightly move your right leg out on a 45-degree angle there, and you can come to the outside edge of your right foot there. Hand can go onto the right thigh there. As you do so, you'll automatically feel your hips sink down and your chest open up. Left hand is still on the floor. Lift your gaze up. We'll stay here for 5 and 4 and 3 as the hips sink down a bit more, and 2 and 1. Right hand comes down inside of the right foot. Lift up that left knee. Take the right foot all the way back into downward facing dog. Ready for the left side. Inhale, left leg comes up behind us, all the way up into three-legged dog. Rounding the back, moving the shoulders forwards. Left foot comes through, outside of left hand. Let's drop The right knee to the floor, flattening that foot at the back. Keep your right hand on the floor. Left hand comes to left thigh. Into our lizard lunge. Automatically you will probably feel as your hips sink, your left leg is going out at a 45-degree angle, and you can come onto the outside of that left edge of your foot there. Big breath in, exhale, and sink the hips down a little bit more. You can feel a deep stretch on the front of your quad there, and an opening up of the hips. Chest is going upwards. It's almost like you've got a little hand pushing out between your shoulder blades, lifting your heart up. Another breath in here, and another exhale as we take the right hand down. We lift up the left knee. We take that left foot back, lift up the right knee, take that left foot back, lift your hips, push back and upwards to downward facing dog. Lowering your knees to the ground. Let's end in child's pose, taking the knees wide, bring the heels together, arms still out long in front of you. Deep breath in. As you exhale, hips come down, to the heels. You can lower the torso and the forehead down to the mat. Maybe walk fingers forwards a little bit. We'll take a few breaths here. Inhaling, you can lift the hips up slightly. And as you exhale, just let everything sink down. Take another breath in. And a big exhale out as we do a final relax. Bringing the hands back up. Find yourself into tabletop position. Lift up the torso. Sit back on your heels.